Hello, Toronto. How you doing? You had a bit of a rough weekend there. You know, on Saturday it rained, Sunday it downpoured. Oh yeah, and this happened. Yes, G20 fever swept the Toronto downtown core, the summit of 20 of the world's leaders when they all show up for some chits and chats. And while the G8 summit in Huntsville, Ontario ended with ice cream, as this shocking CTV news coverage reported, Toronto's G20 ended with an ice cream of a different flavor. A flavor of destruction. As TttC news correspondent British Accent reports on this episode of The News. Shattered storefronts. Burnt out police motorized vehicles. These are the remnants of the actions of a bunch of people dressed similarly. What was normally the most busy and trendy street in the world, Toronto's Queen Street West resembled little more than an empty post-apocalyptic zombie land, where zombies would approach you and attempt to eat your brains, like this. Ew, brainses. This Starbucks coffee shop got pwned, and the message left is clear: people truly prefer the second cup just across the street, which remained intact. Photojournalists, amateur and professional alike, were as happy as pigs in shit. And while some rioters learned that some prices just can't be beat, many bystanders were left asking the question, why? Why had this happened? When will a hero rise and save us all? But no hero was to show up. Superman was spotted at one point, but he didn't bother to stop by. British Accent correspondent, TttC News, Toronto. Now, being the politically, socially, newspaperly ignorant fellow I am, I really can't impose any informed judgment on any of the activities that took place over the weekend from any of the participating factions. But what I can do is point out some interesting topics that you can check out yourself. Topic 1. Violent activity undermines well-intentioned protests and the news couldn't be happier. Psh, signs and chants. Boring. I have little to no idea what anyone was peacefully protesting about, because the news media was more than happy to lap up the deliciously destructive footage that took place, and acting shocked the whole time it happened. Most of it actually happened right outside City Pulse 24's building.
They've smashed the windows at our Starbucks.
How convenient can that be? For more insight on this mentality of the news, I recommend checking out this episode of Charlie Brooker's News Wipe, addressing the G20 in London.
Still, in case you weren't put off by all the continued references to potential violence, then hooray!
Yes, because as well as dire warnings, the papers and the news bulletins were jam-packed with helpful step-by-step advertising campaigns showing precisely where, when and how the massive bloody rucks they were predicting would take place.
Okay, so we start there.
We'll move across the City of London
And go there.
congregate at the Bank of England.
And then it kicks off there.
Topic 2. Inhumane incarceration conditions in Film Studio Detention Center. With over 600 protesters, bystanders, and shit disturbers alike arrested, Sunday brought some new controversies. With the release of detainees from the Toronto Film Studio Temporary Holding Facility, the internet finally got some first-hand accounts of what was going on in there. Between the cramped conditions, lacking of proper food and water, holding durations from 6 to 26 hours without charges, and even reports of mistreatment of homosexual detainees. To find out more, be sure to check out these clips from rabble.ca, as well as reading this article from the Justin and Lex blog that's been making its way around a lot of news publications. Topic 3. My mom thought I was the guy who had his bag searched for cans of butane that turned out to actually be tuna. No, mother. Topic 4. Police plant in the rioting crowd. Check the boots. Not unheard of, as the 2007 Montebello Stop SSP protest showed. The idea being that a plant is placed into a peaceful protest and begins to cause trouble to give the authorities justified reason to rush in and shut it down. One of the evidence? The boots. They were all wearing the same brand. Similar speculation has been made on this G20, where certain upstart rioters were wearing the same boots, meaning that A, they were actually police in disguise, or B, they were rioters disguised as police wearing police boots disguised as rioters. It's that whole I know that you know that I know that you know argument. Conclusion. No one can be trusted. Lock your doors. Hide under the table. Is that grandma calling? No, it isn't. It's a trap. And that's your daily fear of world news. Now on to entertainment.
Entertainment.
Some celebrity said something while wearing something nice.
Sports.
Hello sports fans, a ball went into a net.
Medical.
Mortality experts have discovered that living is the leading cause of dying.
Financials.
We have no money!
Technology.
Buy a 3D TV! And on a final uplifting note, kittens! And that's all for today's news!